Good afternoon. This is Hal Ngoy, CEO of OnMax Host Digital. And today I just want to share with you a few thoughts about what you can expect from OnMax Host Digital. But before I do that, let me ask you to just click on the subscribe button at the bottom of this video, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing in the future from our channel. Please share this with others who you believe may benefit from it. So thank you. Okay, today I want to share a few thoughts on messaging. You may have heard this: conversation is the future of commerce. You've heard about storytelling, and I watch people talk about this and storytelling and conversation and stuff like that. So one of the questions that I ask my team constantly is, what does a website need? What makes a website useful and effective? It's not just a beautiful design, it's the content. And you may have heard that content is king, and that is true. If you look at some of the most successful websites online, you will notice that they may not be as beautiful as others. And yet, they are very successful. Have you taken a look at Amazon website or eBay website? Are they beautiful? What makes them so successful? And so, the design is a good thing, but the key is the message. It's the conversation. People make a buying decision based on the words they hear, they read, they see, based on the message. That's what makes people take action. Any action, whether it's buying, whether it is subscribing, it's the conversation. If you look at it, politics, business, even church, everything is built around a conversation. Some of the most memorable teachings that I remember from church, from the Bible, are conversations. Conversations between our Lord Jesus Christ and his disciples. Those are some of the deepest teachings there. It was not him standing on a pulpit and huffing and puffing, howling at people. He was having a conversation. They would ask him questions. You see how he would answer those questions and how he would ask them questions and how they would answer him. If you go to our website, onmaxhost.domains, you will read something interesting. Building a better brand story for you. That's what we do. So we bring your brand story, and we bring your business goals, and we bring your customers' needs together on your website. That's what we do. So we're not just designing websites. But in order for you to tell a relevant story that's relevant, a story that makes sense to people and will make people to take action, your story must be relevant. And your story must be communicated well. Communication is the key. In this digital age, the way you communicate, if there is no clarity in your communication, whether it is on a video, audio message, face-to-face communication, or written communication via text or email, in Messenger. If your message is not clear, if your thoughts is not complete, nobody will take action. I get frustrated because some people don't communicate clearly. They say things and believing that you should understand. And I always say, if you don't communicate clearly, you leave me with the obligation to interpret your thoughts that you did not communicate clearly. And I will take action based on my interpretation and understanding of what I think you're telling me. And that could be wrong. We can't run a business like that. We need to communicate clearly. We need to use the right language, the correct word. We need to write those words and speak them correctly. We need to demonstrate excellence and professionalism in our communication. If you don't do that, the business will fail. If our communication is poor, the business will fail. So the story that we tell is not about us. If you focus on telling our own story, well, I was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo and my family was very poor, and then I had to struggle in A, B, C, D, and da. That's a beautiful story, it's inspiring, but it doesn't meet the needs of the client. The story, the principal character of the story is the customer. By telling my own story, I am making myself a hero in the story. And the truth is, in the Western society, especially here in the United States, that has been the trend. Make yourself a hero and sell the product. But things have changed. With the rise of social media, with the rise of technology, with handheld devices in the hands of the customers, power has shifted. The story must come from the customer. So we have to ask the right questions. We gain understanding by asking the right questions and learning to listen, by understanding how human brains function, by understanding how to make the right choice of words, by understanding that people are influenced and moved by the opinion or the opinions of other people whom they believe to be neutral. And so as a marketing company in the digital age, we want to develop a message. So at OnMax Host Digital, we stress communication. And I talk to my team constantly about proper spelling. Listen, I am from Congo, but I live in the United States of America. And if I'm going to send a message to my audience, which is made of Chinese and Americans and Mexicans and Brazilians and Europeans, Germans and French and all sorts of people, Japanese, I cannot communicate to them the same way I would communicate to a group of elders in my village where I was born. it will not make sense. I need to communicate to them with clarity and be specific so that they know what they are supposed to do. Somebody came to me, talking to me constantly about their business, and they would come back over and over and over again. And finally, I said, yes, you're telling me about your products and how good they are and this and that. What do you want me to do? What you asking me to do? The man said, what do you mean? Can you see? He's telling me the story of his products. Let me tell you the truth. Today, if you look at cars, they're all the same. You look at phones. What's really the difference between an iPhone and an Android? Really? So it's not the product. It's the story. It's understanding the needs of your consumers, the needs of your clients. And the needs of the client can be categorized in three groups. You have physical needs, you have emotional needs, and you have philosophical needs. You know, if you live in the Midwest, in the United States of America, certain things are more important than certain intangible things make more sense. You see this with political campaigns in the United States of America. You will always hear about how did so-and-so speak to the potential voters in the Midwest. They will always talk about Michigan voters, and they'll talk about Miami voters. Why? Because these voters are living in an environment, they have specific issues, they have specific needs, and you have to address those needs. And you will hear in debates, they'll say, okay, this Democratic Party presidential debate, they are speaking to the base. And then you'll hear the commentators say, but that message will not resonate in the general election with the general national population. So you see, politicians are good at this. They can speak from both sides of their mouths. In fact, multiple sides of their mouths. They're talking to different audiences to the point of contradicting themselves, but they know what they're doing. Because people want to survive, they want to thrive. People want to protect themselves and conserve their resources and stuff like that. But people also are looking for status. And your message needs to tap into what the people need. In my other video, I gave an example of a Mercedes and a different car, like a Lexus or Toyota, Nissan. They will do the same thing, exactly the same thing. But somebody is willing to pay $50,000 more to get a Mercedes. Status. If that's what's more important to them, then that's what you give them. What are their emotional needs? What are their real needs? And so I asked a question another day. I said, do people buy what they want or do they buy what they need? Well, this is a little bit of a philosophical question, because generally, once somebody makes a decision internally that what they want is actually what they need, that they'll be buying what they actually want, believing that this is what they need, even if they'll pay the price later. So today, I am not going too far with this. I just want to insist on the fact that there has to be clarity. You have to speak to your audience. You're not speaking to yourself. You're not speaking to your own tribe. You're not speaking to your own village people. You're not speaking to your own company. You are trying to communicate a message, specific message to your customer. And at OnMax Host Digital, when we build a website, we take time to discuss with the customer, our customer, to uncover what is it that their clients want and what's the best way to tell the story. How to do it. How to make sense to them. And then we craft that message for them. And there is a way you present it. And there is a way you configure it. There is a specific images that will convey that message. So as we build websites, you know, one day my wife, who is my partner in the business, she said to me, you know, our website is more beautiful than this and other company website, but that company is making more money than we are. I said, yes, it's not about the design. We are building our message and we want to stand out. We want to make it heard. There are almost between 3.5 and 5 billion searches done on Google every day. Almost 2.8 to 3 million billion emails sent every day. So the question is, how do you make your voice heard in such a noisy place, landscape, and environment? But that's a lot of activities online. How do you stand out? How do you stand out? How do you thrive in such an environment? How do you make yourself, how do you separate yourself from your competition? How do you differentiate yourself? Branding is the art of differentiation, the clarity of message. How do we craft our stories? How do we tell our brand story and tell it on our website in a compelling manner to get people to take action? And remember, the story is not our story. It's the customer's story. It's put the customer center of the story as the main character of the story. That is why market research is important, to try to understand your audience, your targeted audience, and then begin to reach them with stories that make sense to them. And social media has made this even more important than ever before, because social media is about building your audience, not selling. And so you have to release content that's relevant to that audience, that's engaging. Facebook is about engagement. And the most important engagement in the mind of Facebook owners is, as a company, it's comments. Comments. That's why Facebook groups has become a major strategy today online. And as people interact on Facebook in the groups, I encourage our group members to comment on the comments of other members. That kind of engagement is what Facebook is looking for. When you do that, you succeed in getting that kind of conversation going on. During that conversation, you have an opportunity to demonstrate your expertise, establish your authority in the field, and gain trust from the people. Before long, your phones will be ringing. So the old model is no longer working of marketing. Today we talk about conversational marketing. So at OnMax Host Digital, we select people who are committed to this level of excellence, of communication, of telling the story the right way, conveying the message, we all consistently tell the story the same way on every platform, online and offline. We tell the same story, and we tell it the same way. We tell it with relevance, precision, clarity, and we communicate well. I look on Facebook the way people write, and these are business owners, and these are entrepreneurs who want to gain a following of an audience, but the way they write, the words they use, the spelling. And if we do that, why would a client trust us to be able to write the correct content on their website if we can't even spell our own words correctly in the messages that we distribute? If we can't use the correct words, language, vocabulary, we cause confusion out there. How? That's why we train our team rigorously in communication. Okay, that was it for this part. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the notification bell. This conversation will continue in another video. Thank you. Leave your comment. If you have a question, write in the comments. If you need us to contact you, if you need to reach to our website, there is a link in the description area under this video. And let us know what your suggestions, what your questions, what your comments, and we will be very, very happy to respond to you. And thank you. Bye-bye.